Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be going over some basic spawn protection and how to get your world set up with creating a server, creating a spawn, and just making sure players aren't doing what you don't want them to do. So first, we're going to be going into the create new world. So obviously if you already have a world, you won't need to do this, but we're just going to be creating a test world and we're going to do all that. Make sure you have show coordinates on. This will be useful just in the development stage. And then we do need um, activate cheats on. I recommend putting these other features on, but it's not required for this tutorial. So what we're going to do, we're going to click create. And this is going to load up the world and get into the game. Okay, so we're loaded in, and as you can see, I can do whatever I want. And this is just a blank new world. Let's just say we do have a predefined world. So I'm just going to go into game mode S. This is why you need cheats on. So we're going to go game mode C, and we're going to find where we want our spawn to be. So for me, I'm going to put my spawn at 090. So just TP where your spawn is. Make sure, it doesn't matter where you TP to, just make sure you're in the center of your spawn. So let's say this is the center of our spawn. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be giving yourself a command block. Command block. So the command block is probably the most important feature if you want to create a new server, if you want to do anything inside Minecraft. So command blocks allow you to affect players, do anything commands, which helps you being a server owner and help you create anything you want to do. So command blocks are very beneficial. So how we can use this to protect our server is by executing commands. So by default, if I go to game mode S, you can see I'm a default player. I can go build, break, destroy, and attack other players as I please. But let's say you don't want players to destroy anything while in spawn. So your first thing you're going to want to do is we're going to create a command block. We're going to set that down, and we're going to open this. So when we hover over, we're just going to say this is our um, break protection. This can be anything you want. I'm just going to say break protection so I know what I'm doing. So then we're going to be specifying this as repeat and always active. So why we do that is because we want it to always be repeating and always be active. If we had just needs redstone, this means this will repeat for about 520 ticks after we click the button. So you can see if I click a button, I got a button right here, and I do say hey, you can see normally if this is on impulse, it's going to say hey once. But if this is on repeat, it's going to say hey a certain amount of times for however long the button is pressed. So what we're going to be doing is having this on always active. So now you can see this will always be saying hey. Perfect. So once we have that done, that means we are always going to be saying hey. But we don't want that to happen. We're going to open up the command block inside this with this plus icon. This plus is going to allow us to enter some commands. So the commands we're going to be using is making sure everyone in a radius is in game mode C or game mode A. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be executing at A. We're going to be executing all players, and then we're going to specify a augment, and this augment is going to be R. R means radius, and radius allows us to specify how big of a radius we want around our thing. So you can see this is the center block, right? And let's say we want to protect all the way over here. So let's say this is our spawn limit. So you can see that this z coordinate is at negative 66. So you can see right at the top where it says position 0, 63, negative 66. That z coordinate tells us that we are going to negative 66. So what we're going to be doing is if this is the last block we want to protect, we're going to be going back to our spawn command block. And what we're going to be doing is doing our spawn position now. So you can see our z now is at 0. So we're going to go do negative 66 minus 0 to get our radius. And we're going to absolute this value so we're always getting a positive. So if you don't know what I meant, it means we're just going to be taking our z coordinate and subtracting it from our first coordinate, and that will give us our new radius. So our radius is going to be equal to 66. So that means there's going to be a 66 radius circle around this area specifying this command is going to be running. So it's going to be executing all players in a radius of 66. But we don't want to specify all players because some players should not be set to game mode A. So what we're going to be doing is doing mode does not equal C. So what this means, it's going to be selecting all players in a radius of 66 blocks. And also, their mode does not equal creative. So it's just checking if their mode is not in creative mode, and it will select that player. So once we have that done, we're going to be doing these 3 squiggly signs. If you're on Xbox, you're going to need to go into your custom, well, you should just be able to find these squiggly signs anywhere. So keyboard, you just click the squiggly sign. Xbox might be a little bit different. So you're going to be doing squiggly. Then this is going to allow us to execute a command on selection. So this first part of the command was specifying the selection. It's testing for, we're going to execute all players in a radius of 66 blocks, and their mode does not equal C. So once we specify all those players, we're gonna want to set their game mode to game mode A. So what's going to be happening is we're selecting all players in a radius of 66 blocks, and their mode does not equal creative, and we're going to be specifying we're going to be changing their game mode to adventure mode. So once we do that, you can see this command will start running. Oh, we have to do game mode A at S. My fault. There we go. It says no targets match selector because I am in game mode C. I'm in game mode C right now. So if I go to game mode S, you can see set owns game mode to adventure. So now I can't break any blocks in a radius. So if we go all the way out over here, you can see it's still spamming that in chat. That means it's working. And if we go all the way to our breakpoint, because remember this was negative 66, you can see that it stopped detecting me. But I'm still in adventure. See, I still can't break blocks. So this is a problem. How we fix this problem is we're going to go back to our command block. And what we're going to be doing is specifying our break protection. And so we're going to create a little bit more area, and we're going to be placing down another command block. So what we're going to be doing is just placing another command block anywhere you want. Make sure it's in the middle of your spawn. So then we're going to be doing repeat, always active, same as we did before. But now we're going to switch up the command. So now we're still going to be doing execute all players in a radius of, well, actually now we're going to be doing a new thing called RM. RM basically means we're specifying everyone outside a radius. So radius maximum. And radius maximum allows us to specify all players outside a radius. So we're going to specify 66. And that is the same radius we used right here. So we're going to specify all players outside of a radius of 66. So this means they're out of our spawn. So once they're out of our spawn, we're going to want to put them back into survival. So we're going to make sure their mode is not equal to C. And we're going to run the same command like we did before. So game mode S at S. So now instead of A, we're going to do S. So if we go back to this command, this one is specifying their game mode to adventure mode. And this one is specifying their game mode to survival. So now, if we go into game mode S, we can see we're in game mode A. So we can't break, we can't do anything, right? And if we go back, and now if we travel all the way over here to our radius, which was 66, you can see I still can't break anything. And there we go. So now I'm in game mode S. So you can see it did work. So once I exited spawn, you can see I'm now able to break blocks again. But once I enter spawn, you can see now game mode is adventure. So it works perfectly. So now what if we don't want players to attack other players? So recently Minecraft has changed how you can do this. You can't just do /effect at s strength 255. So the old way allowed us to do this. So strength 255 means that we have so much strength that it actually cancels out the strength, which really doesn't make sense. But I guess it worked like that. So it gave him so much strength that it did no damage, which I don't know how it worked, but it did. But now we're gonna be doing is a little bit different. We're gonna not want players to be able to break or hurt anybody in spawn. So how we do this is we're gonna want to give them weakness. Weakness makes it so they won't be affecting any other players. So if we do the same command like we did before, repeat, always active, and then we're going to be doing execute at A, same command, RM, well, we're going to do radius of 66, and then make sure their mode does not equal C, and then we're going to do effect at S, add, or no, it's not add, effect at S, weakness, 1 second, 255. And we're also going to be specifying it as true. So we don't want the particles to show. So we're going to check this out first before I show you how it works. So if we go to game mode S, you can see I'm now having weakness. So I have weakness at the top and I can't do anything. And weakness means that we can't attack anybody and they can't attack us. So if we go back to game mode C and into the command block, you can see it's executing all players the same as we had before in a radius of 66. And checks, make sure their mode does not equal C, and it's going to be affecting the player. So effect at S, weakness, 1 second. So this first parameter is 1. The second one is the amplifier. And the third is just going to be specifying if we want to show particles or not. So obviously we don't want to show particles, and so that will make it so they don't have, well, it makes it so they won't show particles. By default, it shows particles. If not, we don't want to show particles. So you can see I got my alt account to join. So if I TP Smelly Curry 2 to me, we can see. Oh, did I TP him? Oh, oh, my fault. TP Smelly Curry 2 to here. There we go. Now if I go to game mode S, where'd you go? Oh, my phone. Okay, the alt account disconnected, so we need to get it to join back in the game. So once we do that, we can see that once he joins back, let's wait. Okay, so my alt account is joined, and we're going to TP my alt account back to myself. And you can see, if I go to game mode S, that I cannot hurt this player. So perfect, I can't hurt the player, and he can't hurt me. So if we go check it out, he can't hurt me either. He also can't break any blocks until he leaves spawn. Perfect. So everything is working. Players cannot hurt each other. Players cannot break any blocks. And we have created a perfect spawn protection. So if you like this video, make sure to subscribe, comment, and tell me anything that you would like to see in the next video. Peace out, and I'll see you guys later.